What is up, guys? In today's video we're going to be spectating random players in Fortnite Zero Build, going over what I think they do well, what they could do differently, and just the state of the game right now. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything, Jake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So luckily we have a fair amount of players going Riptides. Always an absolute struggle to predict where people are going to go when I try to make one of these videos, because things always play out so differently when I'm like playing to play versus like playing to make one of these videos. Like the game knows. I like landing here and just trying to get the pizza as fast as possible because it is the best healing item in the game. And so anywhere where there is a pizza shop, you can quickly eat a bunch of slices and get full shield immediately, and then also like carry 3 slices. There's a lot of fighting going on around him though. And so you might want to worry about like getting timing on third partying that. Sounds like they're fighting inside this building. Yeah, right at the front. Might have just been drone, so it sounded like such a chaotic fight. The aim on this player is not the greatest. The aim on both these players is not the greatest. Eventually he gets it done. There's more people fighting in front. I think there was overdrive nades in that building. The spectator's like weirdly laggy. It's more pizza. He's gonna eat the steak. That allows you to lift the weight faster, which still has the chance to give the mythic iron pump this season. And when you land at that pizza shop, you can basically just walk in a straight line and get 3 steaks, which is enough to loot it decently quick. More overdrive nades here. I'm happy to see him take those instead of the zip line, because I do not think the zip line is a very good mobility item, especially in solos. This player's going to be shockwaving right on him. Hits a decent pump shot, but I think this fight is going to be over for him. The enemy player did a lot of damage and has much better movement. If you're this little, I don't know the name of the skin we're watching, but he should be eating pizza slices right now. One of the best, like the reason why pizza is such a good healing item is because the speed at which you can eat it allows you to easily like heal up and reset a fight in those moments in a way that other heals really wouldn't. But I don't think his chances were that great of winning the fight regardless. I kind of wish we were watching that doggo skin because their movement seemed pretty good. Aim was a bit questionable, but we'll see. Okay, here their aim was good. Doesn't matter, that guy stole his kill. He's got a whole pizza. The reason, I've talked about this several times, but I much prefer carrying just the regular slices rather than the entire box. And the reason is because of what we just talked about. What makes pizza the best healing item is how fast you can use it and how quick you can use it to like gain an advantage in fights and like tip the odds of a fight in your favor. Carrying the whole box, you have to throw the box down and then look at it to start eating the slices. And that could be like fine in a moment where a fight isn't actively happening. But when a fight is happening, having the slices is so much better. So he's going to throw it down here. I'm interested to see if he takes the chug jug or the pizza. That fight that just happened was, you know, somewhat interesting. Just like timing fight. I don't know. There's not really too much to talk about there. He just gets uppercutted, eventually kills the guy. That's kind of how this season goes. The spectator feels like so laggy this game. Like on this player and the player we were spectating previous, or the original player. Again, this is just going to be an easy cleanup fight. Uppercut, headshots, GG's. He seemed to know that guy was pushing into him, but I bet he had visual audio. Like I didn't hear anything, but the visual audio setting, sometimes you like hear those, you see it on there before you actually like hear it. But what I was going to say is, so far this player's aim seems really good with the SMGs, but not as great with the pumps. Just from the initial fight we saw and the following fights. I want to see more out of how they play shotguns, but their movement seems pretty solid in a lot of these fights. And then their SMG aim as well. Like this is an AI and they're going to go down pretty much immediately. But when it gets into like a chaotic shotgun fight versus a decent player, I could see them losing it, especially only having a green pump. I enjoy using the pump still, even with the chaos reloader in the game. I kind of go back and forth, and it mostly just kind of depends on like rarity or what I happen to have that game. But green pump especially, or like the lower rarities of the pump, you need to play very well to outplay a chaos shotgun. Like a low rarity chaos is a lot better than a low rarity pump, in my opinion. We'll see if he upgrades here. That is something you can do. You can upgrade using the rivalry credits. I do not like that. We'll see. But so he goes for the hollow twist AR, which is one, not an exotic I really care for, which maybe we'll get to in a moment. But spending points is fine. You spend them how you want, you know? Like, I think a lot of players kind of have... They don't want to spend the points. Like, they should spend them more frequently than they do, I guess. But if you are going to invest rivalry coins into this match, I think upgrading your shotgun is a much better use of the points than getting this AR. Especially from what we saw, like, their aim with the Thunderburst was fine. It was their shotgun that was kind of lacking for them in those fights, it seemed. And pairing the pump with the hollow twister AR, the hollow twister AR is not a good spray weapon, especially this exotic version, because it starts out shooting slow and then eventually starts shooting faster as you continue to fire it, which is not how you want to be using your spray weapon in close range fights. You want to shoot your pump, swap to your spray for a little bit, and then swap back to your pump, right? And in that instance, the hollow twister AR, you're just consistently going to have the worst version of it. And as I already talked about, his aim with the shotgun, unless it was just like weird situations, I don't know, but it seemed like he wasn't getting as much of it as shotgun as he should have been. And so pairing that with a spray weapon that isn't that great, I think is definitely going to cost him if he has to play against the Chaos Reloader or just a good player in general. That Hope is a hired NPC. This would have been a moment where the hollow twister maybe would have been good, like more long range fights, but he tries to just shock on the guy. This person just using the revolver. Shoots him there. I kind of wish we could see damage numbers. Hit him a few times with the hollow. He needs to reload though. He hasn't reloaded at all. I feel like this is a kill that you should have just let go. This is getting like so messy. He's just gonna back up and heal. I think that's good. I think his hollow twister still isn't loaded. Okay, it isn't. He's got to just shock on them and kill them. Like, standing out here and fighting like this is terrible. Yeah, as soon as your cover is destroyed there. Okay, he gets the kill. But I think as soon as your cover is destroyed there, you want to either just push the person and finish the fight, or just completely leave. But just standing out in the open and trying to AR them, I think is the worst possible thing that could be done. And it is kind of coin flippy to jump on them there, but like, you know, you had that player weak and they probably didn't have much time to heal. I'm surprised they pushed them in the first place though. After like the initial exchange of shots and that Miku got to that hill, I think just leaving them be there and letting them go probably would have been the best bet. Eventually they get it done though, but that was very messy. I think it could have gone either way, and had any third parties been in the area, that would not have been great. They could buy more heals at the vending machines over here. Also, there's a pizza in this pizza shop right in front of him. Whether or not it's been taken already, who knows? But there's a pizza box that spawns there, just like how the one in Riptides. And so I would definitely want to go there and get slices or just buy heals here. Either way, like, having the healing item is a lot better than not having one. Somebody shockwaving on him. This ammo box doesn't matter. Like, the person shockwaving on you is significantly more important than the ammo box. Doesn't get any damage yet. This player is using the Chaos Reloader. Once again, gets low damage on his pump shot, I'm pretty sure. And GG's. That was just a very, I don't even know, like, awkward timing fight, but also it's awkward timing that he kind of created, because we heard that player use an overdrive nade, and I think it's pretty fair to assume that they're pushing you at that moment. And so I don't know why he's like concerned about getting the ammo box at that point. A better play, I think, would have been gloving up to one of these buildings and then trying to shoot at them with the hollow twister AR as they're like trying to overdrive a nade up to you. But pretty much as soon as that fight started, I did not think that they were going to win it. Like, they just weren't hitting their shotgun shots. The hollow twister isn't a good spray. They're getting like spam uppercutted around. It just feels like everything was going wrong. And a lot of that was just because of the start of the fight. This player was the one initiating the fight, and the other player was like looking away from them, and that's like pretty perfect timing. And it seemed like they hit him pretty hard with the overdrive, the Chaos Reloader shotgun right away. Again, though, I really don't like this combo. So it's even worse with the Chaos Reloader. I think. Because with the Chaos Reloader, it only has one shot. It hits really hard. And so if you hit your shot, it can kind of make up for having only one shot. But I want to have like a more dominant spray weapon with my Chaos Reloader because you're going to need to be on it longer. And you're potentially going to need it to like bail you out of some situations. They were using the Nemesis before. I think if they're using like a pistol or a burst, that fight would have been even cleaner. And so, yeah, I really don't like the idea of the Hollow Twister with this. Maybe it works out, though, because you do have to stay on your spray a little bit longer with the Chaos Reloader. So maybe they finally do start to get to the point where it's shooting really fast and can melt. But, yeah, I feel like if you're going to use the Hollow Twister, you want to be using the hammers. And I don't want to be using the hammers this season. But the way this exotic works, it's just not a good spray weapon. And I also think it's just kind of a weird weapon in general this season because of the pace the fights play at. Every fight we've seen has been like people spam uppercutting each other, right? When are you using the Hollow Twister in those moments? Or when are you benefiting from having that AR, you know? And then even at long range, it is projectile past 100 meters. So you have to worry about bullet drop and bullet travel time in those instances. And so what would be the dominant aspect of these red dot ARs just isn't even as much of a factor. I think the way this season plays out is one of the more like close range oriented seasons we've ever had. They're in front of him there. This will be a situation where like the gun probably melts if he hits the shots. But the more important fights this season, I think, are always just like chaotic and air with gloves. At least in solos and duos. Maybe squads plays out a little more stagnant and like having the pick potential of like the red dot AR can be more valuable. So the person that, yeah, okay, thank you. See, this is where it's good. And so he's going to be able to pressure this and maybe do something about it. But that player, I think, was like pretty slow to react to getting shot. They get in their car and leave, so maybe they get away. It depends on how weak the car is. And he did shoot it earlier, so maybe it's weak. Doesn't seem absurdly weak, though. Yeah, they get away. He's going to use a lot of mobility to chase here. And a pad. Luckily, he reloads before the pad, which is a mistake we saw from the previous player where they like spammed out all their ammo and then tried to push without it reloaded. He's going to land on the tree and beam this guy. This just should work out well. Unfortunate. Being gloved to them, though. I don't know how much damage he got, but probably a little more than the player's overshield, but this person is still relatively healthy. And so having this fight is not... See, that's... I'm gonna say having this fight like without that much early damage can really backfire because we already know that there's other third parties in the area. And for some reason, he like kind of lost sight of this person and jumped over them. The guy above him. Gonna uppercut. This is turnable. GG's. So both the kills that we just saw from this player were him turning a fight that wasn't really going his way. The first one more so than the second. But that player is pushing into him. And he just uppercut pumps pistol. And you saw how quickly the player he just eliminated went down. And we saw it from the other perspective as well with the player that we were spectating. And that's kind of what I was talking about with like having not only good shotgun aim this season in those instances, and it really matters, but also having a more dominant spray weapon. The pistol put down both of those enemies incredibly fast. He's going to go for the Hollow Twister. Okay, now he's gonna go back to pistol. I think the Hollow Twister is like kind of a trap this season. Like I think you really want a dominant spray weapon because in those moments you have such little periods of time to shoot at enemies as you're getting uppercutted and shotgunned and sprayed. Like the way close range fights play out this season, very fast and very chaotic. And having the red dot can help sometimes in certain fights, but a lot of those fights are more like resettable as we saw. With the player getting away in the car or this player dropping down and then turning the fight. Or just like kills that don't matter as much. The threatening players, the harder fights in lobby, I feel like typically play out like how this player is playing. He's going to get a bounty. Try to at least. Is he just going to key them? He just slices. And so this trade is going well for the player that we're spectating. Odds are this guy on the hill doesn't have as good of a healing item as Pizza. And so the player that we're spectating is able to heal and push while this player hasn't fully healed. Now things are terrible, though. You want to get out of here. So the other party showed up. I think he could have gotten the kill that he was getting a little bit cleaner. And then, like, this third party might not have been there. But this third party shows up. And now it's GG's. Probably. The reason why he's sending this guy super high like that is because they had eaten, they'd used an overdrive nade. This is very bad, GG's. Now it's a 1v1. I think this player also defeats the other person. It's just unfortunate, I think, what happened with that player, because I kind of agreed with what they were doing. Like, they and the person they were fighting kind of trade mid-range damage. He has pizza, so he can insta-heal and push and kind of take advantage of the fact that his healing item is faster. But he just pushes and doesn't get the kill as cleanly as he should, and then that allows this person to third party. And then he's not really able to reset, and then it's GG's. And it looked like he was hip firing. Okay, I thought the person just died of storm. It looked like he was hip firing the other person he was fighting, but I think that was just a replay mode bug. Like sometimes like replay mode is or not, sorry, replay mode. Spectator mode and replay mode in general are both like very buggy and don't always show perfectly what's happening. Like I've had another streamer accuse me of cheating because they were spectating me, hip firing people across the map while I was streaming, and you can watch it on my stream and I'm like aiming down sights, and you can watch it on their stream and I'm hip firing. It's just like spectator mode isn't always perfect for stuff like that. I think he is a mythic. GG's. I think the player that we were spectating before, the reason why things went south for them is they like shockwaved on the player who got second, and they were trying to like glove him rather than just shooting their gun. Like the gloves are really good in close range fights for sure, but I think they kind of made things more complicated than it needed to, rather than just because they were relying on the gloves more so than shooting their gun. If they overdrived on them and then like aimed down sights and air and sprayed them with the pistol, they probably could have got that kill before they even got to the enemy. And then the final fight is just mythic shotgun is really good, and yeah, that was a fight where it did well. But that is going to be it for this video. We are in the loudest part of the map ever. If you guys enjoyed this, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.